It looks like the Democrats have a chance at increasing their seats in the House. Who would you want as Speaker of the House? So let me take this first because I'm really fascinated by the Speaker of the House position, and the fact that we talked about the CARES Act that just passed, and a lot of the complaints in the progressive community was how little the progressives in the House and the Senate did not organize so that we can have $2,000 UBI, Medicare for all during the COVID. There wasn't an organizing effort, at least from what we could see on the outside. So I'm already thinking about this way in advance. So let's say, even if, God forbid, Trump is in office again, but if Biden is there, we still need to organize around a Speaker of the House. So I'm going to show some articles. Let me bring up this article. This is an article of back in 2018 when Nancy Pelosi was running for Speaker of the House. She had one person that was thinking about challenging her from the left, which is Marcia Fudge, right? And then she was getting pressure from the right also. So they came to an agreement to have term limits. So this is kind of a little known. I don't see this too often, but Nancy Pelosi made a deal that she's going to be term limited out after this next speakership, which is interesting. So she might become Speaker one more time, but after that, she's not going to be Speaker. They put that into the law. Can we organize to either get a more progressive leader in there or even try to push her more to the left? So let me throw out some other articles real quick. The term limits agreement, which still needs to be formalized by a vote of the House, will limit caucus leaders to 3 terms and a 4th term if 2/3 of the caucus agrees to it. The new limits would apply retroactively to Pelosi, as well as incoming Majority Leader Steny Hoyer of Maryland and incoming Majority Whip Jim Clyburn. All right. And then let's go back to the original question. Who would you like to see as Speaker of the House?
Okay, are we talking about like what we want, or just like a scenario of like a dream that we would like to see?
Give me both. Give me whatever you want to speak on the topic.
Okay, well then here, let's talk about reality, and it's going to be a little controversial because I guess a lot of people in the progressive community have been very critical of her. If I want to see a Speaker of the House, be Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and I say this because it's not Nancy Pelosi. After seeing how the Congress has been acting, our current leadership, I'm definitely for term limits. I'm also for age limit too, because someone who's in their late 70s, early 80s clearly does not know what's happening at the hour.
Your age is him.
At the second. And look, it's nothing against senior citizens, but seeing as the majority of our politicians right now, they clearly are stuck in a different time era. Now, of course, there are a lot of senior citizens, especially those who are voters and activists and organizers, who are well aware that, okay, I don't want to see my children and grandchildren's groups, suffer. But our politicians, however, they just can't be in this form of power. Now, I say AOC because there's still potential and hope. Okay, I still hold on to that idea, that false notion, that ridiculous idea, that fleeting idea of hope, because I see her story, how AOC came into power, and while there's a lot of criticism towards her, I think there's still chance for her to continue to grow. All right, this is her first term in. She just won re-election. I think we have to keep an open communication with AOC, but more importantly, let's look at the environment that AOC is in. The very fact that we got some progressives in Washington, D.C. is saying a lot. And beggars can't be choosers at this point. I'm very sorry. Unless there's a massive political revolution, voter engagement, voter involvement, Washington, D.C. is still going to be that swamp bubble. AOC is by herself. And I think it's really up to us to remind her that, hey, you're a public servant. I know you're calling Nancy Pelosi Mama Bear, but you got to get that notion out. I believe that AOC knows more about what's happening than Nancy. I think AOC should be the rightful Speaker of the House. Now, for a fantasy, what I would want, what I would like to see, solid leadership, it would have to be Representative Tulsi Gabbard from the state of Hawaii, because at least there she is able to build a coalition with, dare I say it, Republicans and Democrats. She was able to really do it. She was able to really stand up, especially during the ridiculous impeachment hearings, which I think was a waste of time. Yeah, she voted president, but the thing is, the Democrats were never going to impeach Trump, and the Republicans were never going to go along with it. Tulsi Gabbard had the wisdom and the knowledge to see that, okay, this is a waste of time. She voted president. Did anything else change? No. The DNC and RNC still went at each other's throats, and Tulsi Gabbard took the correct path as far as I'm concerned and was the only one who really knew what to do at that point. Tulsi Gabbard should be the Speaker of the House, but sadly she is stepping down because the DNC is full of its own crap. Corporate media is full of its own crap. I wish her all the best. But that's my fantasy. That would be my dream if Tulsi Gabbard were the Speaker of the House, but that's never going to happen because the DNC are a bunch of hypocrites. So that's my perspective, my point of view. Am I wrong? Probably. And will people comment on this? Yes. But, that's just my opinion.
No worries. This is what it's all about. Yeah. This is all about. We're going to put it all on the table. Go ahead.
People are going to comment. People are going to comment no matter what. So
yeah, exactly.
Hey, we welcome people's comment. We welcome people's comment. Let us know.
Hey, we got some good comments, some insightful stuff. But to me, really, this is something that it was Maxine Waters, Raul Grijalva. I mean, nobody really excites me right now because, the way the system is, the swamp the kid mentioned.
Yeah.
There's no way that we're going to get somebody that we really love and will do the things that we want and push the House to be progressive, really do a Green New Deal like we really wanted to. So, to me, it's a great topic to discuss, but I just kind of checked out on it. I was like, yeah, man, I'm discouraged.
My fantasy pick is Representative Ro Khanna. I think that he is taking the route of the infiltration. At least either he's the best spy in the world and he's really establishment, or this guy is really doing what we consider democratic infiltration the right way. So he's a Bernie campaign co-chair. He's progressive on all the policies: Green New Deal, Medicare for all, $15 minimum wage, and he's actually been able to get laws passed. Well, one law passed that was vetoed by Trump, and that one was to end the war in Yemen. It was a bipartisan bill. It got through the House, got through the Senate, and ultimately it was vetoed by Trump. But I think that shows that despite despite the stereotype of a progressive can't get law through, he was able to get that through with a bipartisan support. And that was great. He's actually taking on a lot of different leadership roles and different committees and things like that within the party. So he's a vice chair of the Congressional Progressive Caucus. He's on the House Budget, Armed Services and Oversight and Reform Committees. He's an assistant whip. And he also listens to feedback. I remember there was a big drama when he endorsed Joe Crowley back when he in the AOC original primary, and when that blowback hit him, he actually went on interviews and he ended up co-endorsing AOC because he saw her policies and saw that she was more in line with him. So while it wasn't the greatest thing, it would have been nice for him to withdraw the endorsement and go to her. At least it showed that he heard the feedback. And he was able to be honest about it. Yeah, there's no way for me to endorse him, but not endorse somebody that supports the same policies as me. He's also co-sponsored. He's been like the Bernie of the House. So when Bernie comes out with the big policy, the No War Against Iran Act, the College Affordability Act, the Stop Bezos Act, it's always him. And then on the right-hand man is Ro Khanna. So my pick is I think he's somebody that can actually get in there and be our progressive leader in the House and also get these bills to the floor that right now we can't get. Who will get picked is probably going to be Pelosi undoing the term limits and then coming back again. That's likely what's going to happen because if we know what the Democrats love to do is they love to give a big middle finger to us.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No, that's right.
To me, it's like anyone but Pelosi, man. We just need some new voice. Like Kid said, we would love to have AOC, but we know she can't even get more than 60 seconds at the convention. So
yeah, that is true.
I mean, so who knows what we're gonna get? But I would just at this point, man, anyone but Pelosi, man, just someone that's
I don't know if I go that far with anybody but Pelosi. I think we got to be very careful.
Who
takes
true.
that seat.
Yeah, that's true.
Not any because it kind of goes in that notion of vote blue, no matter who.
No matter who.
I think if we're gonna say anybody who closes, oh no.
Yeah. Kid, let me show you real quick. This was somebody here, Seth Moulton, who wanted to challenge. He was one of the people that was giving Pelosi a hard time, and as we saw when he tried to run for president, that dude was a mess. He's definitely a conservative Democrat. We can't have that guy. I want to jump in here real quick and just let me tell who I would love to see, which is Barbara Lee. Barbara Lee is actually a realistic person that can become Speaker of the House because she ran for leadership last time. But I'm going to also show you this article right here where it says Joe Crowley's pardon shot, ousted by Ocasio-Cortez. He undermined Barbara Lee in the House leadership race. So when Joe Crowley lost to AOC, because he used the fact that Barbara Lee gave AOC money, Barbara Lee gave AOC money after she won the primary. So not before, because before, if you're an incumbent, it's like sacrosanct. You cannot support a challenger. But afterwards, it was only fair that, you know, she's trying to build camaraderie. But Joe Crowley used that and to basically sully Barbara Lee's name. And she ran but lost to this person right here, Hakeem Jeffries. And I think she has a lot of respect among progressives. Just to be in a leadership position to run, period, you have to have a certain amount of camaraderie. So I'm hoping that next time, you know, with some progressives coming in, you got Jamal Bowman, we got Cori Bush coming in there, and among others, hopefully she can build enough clout to get in there and become Speaker of the House.
She was also the only vote against the Afghanistan war out of like everyone.
And that's where her credibility comes from with being progressive, because she actually endorsed Kamala at first, right? We would expect her to endorse Bernie. But I think just by the fact that she was the only person to vote against the Iraq war, including Bernie, he went for it. That gives her like 1 million progressive points. And she got maybe a couple subtracted for not endorsing Bernie. So
yeah,
I think
one of my big pet peeves is that I like my leaders to have good foresight, not good hindsight. Yeah, everybody can have hindsight and say, oh, well, that was a mistake and I grew from it. But it's only the few people that can have the right position before you know what the right position is. So
and you also know, like, Crowley had probably the reason why he probably wanted to say that was what he was next in line, Speaker of the House, right? So they were prepping him for that. So the fact that AOC took him out, you know, they know what to do after. So
all right.